In the world of hunting, there's what we call once-in-a-lifetime tags. Tags so rare and difficult to draw, they usually take a lifetime. Thanks to hunting full and a little bit of luck, I was fortunate enough to draw one of these coveted tags in Montana, chasing some gigantic elk. With 21 days to hunt for a bull of a lifetime, the challenge was set. After 3 grueling flights and over 40 hours of travel, the anticipation for the hunt had reached an all-time high. With the points I'd earned in Montana, the odds of drawing this unit were an unbelievable 1 in 300. The weight of this tag burning in my pocket was something I felt long before my boots ever hit the ground in Montana. Every hour of training, every ounce of preparation over the past few months was about to be tested to the limit. We grabbed the rental car, stocked up on supplies, and headed towards the unit. With 3 days left before opening day, we had one goal: scout as much of both the public and private land we had access to hunt. Well, we're heading to the elk woods. We've just left Bozeman. We've filled up the car, gone and got our tags. Heading out to the public land now, do a couple of days of scouting before the season opening, but optimism's high. A couple more hours of driving yet, but the scenery is beautiful. We're looking at mule deer and antelope all the time. See what the afternoon brings and hopefully lay eyes on some elk. With time to scout limited, we were up well before first light, driven by the ticking clock and the weight of what was at stake. The strategy was clear. We would use the highest vantage points in the unit to locate elk. But the landscape defied my expectations. Gone were the imposing mountains and deep basins of traditional Montana terrain. Instead, the land was made up of smaller rolling hills, country that offered countless hiding spots for elk. As the heat of the day intensified, we switched to the car to cover ground more efficiently, targeting the areas I'd e-scouted prior to the trip. We sought out any sign of elk, piecing together the clues that would form the foundation for my hunt strategy, should the need arise in the days ahead. In the afternoon, we shifted our focus to a section of private property I had access to during the first few days of the season. With the afternoon sun beaming down, we set up to glass, though smoke from Canadian wildfires severely inhibited our visibility. Even in the haze, we found a group of bull elk on a distant ridge. While none were particularly impressive, the sight of an elk, any elk, was a victory and increased my anticipation for the days to come. Given that 90% of the unit was private land, with the majority of elk residing there, I knew that opportunities on public land would be few and far between. Private property was going to be my best chance at taking a bull of a lifetime on this hunt. Well, 1 day till opener, just having a quick brekkie in camp, and we'll punch up this ridge behind camp and get on the glass. As the first light of dawn broke over the landscape, it stirred a sense of hope, the kind that comes with the thought of spotting a massive herd of elk rutting somewhere in the basin. But as we searched, reality set in. No elk. However, what we did find in abundance was mule deer. My tag was a combo tag, deer and elk. And while the unit was limited entry for elk, it was a general unit for deer. That meant, if fate smiled on me, I could legally take both. The problem was, a brutal winter kill for the last couple of years, coupled with the pressure from mountain lion predation, had reduced the deer population significantly in this area. So the property owner had made one thing very clear: no hunting mule deer while we were chasing elk. It was a strict look, but don't touch policy. And man, it was tough, because some of those deer were a sight to behold. While they weren't part of the plan, it was hard not to appreciate the beauty of them. It felt almost like a reward for the hunt, even though it wasn't what we'd set out to find. We're going to head back to camp, shoot the bows, sharpen the broadheads, and just get everything finalised, because the next couple of days we want to spend as much time on the mountain as possible. Hopefully find that big bull that we're chasing. I've never claimed to be the best shot, but on this hunt, knowing this might be my one opportunity to tag this rare, I was determined to be as prepared as I possibly could. I wasn't going to leave anything to chance. For months, I pushed myself beyond my comfort zone, shooting further than I'd ever considered ethical to shoot at an animal. It wasn't just about hitting the bullseye. It was about preparing for the moment that could define everything. When that bull of a lifetime finally stepped out in front of me, I needed to feel absolutely certain. I needed to trust that my arrow would find its mark, no matter how much the wind howled or how much my heart pounded. In that moment, there was no room for doubt. This wasn't just another hunt. It was the accumulation of everything that had brought me to this moment. Every early morning on the Stairmaster, every hour spent at the range, it all had to come together in that instant. And when it did, I wanted to know deep down that I had done everything I could to make it count. With the relentless midday heat persisting well into the evenings, we knew the afternoons would yield little action. On the eve of the season opener, we chose to settle on a high glassing knob, mindful not to disturb anything or spread our scent around. The afternoon provided only one small bull, but it was enough to stir our anticipation. With hotter daytime temperatures, we hoped it would spark a match and ignite the rutting activity for the morning to come. My sleep was restless, and all I could do was wait for the first light to hopefully reveal what we'd come so far to find. Opening day, the moment I'd been waiting months for. We were in position hours before first light, hearts racing, hoping to hear a bugle echo through the valley. But the valley was eerily silent. We tried calling, but there was no response. We glassed into shaded pockets, hoping to catch sight of elk feeding, but saw nothing. Undeterred, we covered miles of country, constantly bugling and praying for a reply. By morning's end, all we had found was one small bull, a far cry from the dreams we'd created in the months leading up to this moment.
Well, we were out well and truly before first light this morning, full of optimism, but I think the full moon, windy conditions and hot temperatures just sort of has everything locked down. We let out a few bugles but didn't get any responses, sadly. We did manage to find a bull up high, just sort of making his way through the timber, and put him to bed. It's been a couple of hours now and haven't seen anything else, so we're going to head back for lunch, refuel and get out on a high ridge this afternoon, try and glass some new country and use spot and stalk and maybe find them if they're not making noise.
When the hunting isn't going your way, you can either work harder or smarter, and in our case we did both. We hiked several miles to a central vantage point, scanning the terrain for elk and any sign of their presence as we went. With the afternoon temperatures holding steady in the mid-70s or around 25 degrees, we set up to glass a vast amount of new country. This small thought popped into my head. I felt the pressure building. What if we don't see any elk this afternoon? What would that mean for your hunt to come? But then, as the temperatures began to drop, it was like someone flicked a switch.
Well, it was certainly worth the effort. We've been glassing all this country in just the last half an hour since that sun's dropped. It's just come alive. We had a mob of elk over the back, just a small satellite bull with a mob of cows and another small satellite bull up here, but potential shooter bull across the gully here. I mean, it's a bit hard to tell with the wind and with the sun setting, but he looks like he's got everything. So we'll be back here first thing in the morning and hopefully we can lay eyes on him again, make a bit of a game plan.
The beauty of hunting lies in how quickly everything can change. We woke to an eerily foggy morning, and my heart sank as I realised that the dream of me finding that bull from the night before was slipping away with each passing minute. With visibility reduced to barely 50 metres, we decided to remain in camp and catch up on much needed sleep after a series of 11 PM finishes and early 4 AM starts. By lunch, we hoped the fog would lift enough to offer some visibility, so we ate breakfast and geared up, excited how the cooler weather may have changed things on the landscape. With the welcome sight of a mule deer in camp, we took it as a sign. We ventured out, hoping to find an area to glass, but most of the countryside was still swallowed by a thick, heavy fog. Only brief pockets of land peeked through, offering small, fleeting glimpses of the world beyond. The fog hung on, stubborn and persistent as the afternoon stretched on. It felt as though what we were looking for was just out of reach, shrouded by the fog. But then, the fog brought with it the unmistakable sounds that define September. Bugles. In that moment, the fog no longer felt like a shroud, but a veil being lifted, revealing a new reality. Through the mist, I saw them. They're all feeding back to the right. There's one there, I can see him. Over 50 elk had moved into our basin overnight, and in that moment, everything had shifted from uncertainty to thrilling possibility. We've heard our first bugles. Sitting up on this ridge after getting cabin fever this morning. We were locked in the TP. It was just absolutely fogged in, pissing down rain. Ended up having over an inch of rain overnight. So we've come out for the afternoon and there's about 50 cows up there. There is one bull who's been doing a couple of bugles, which is awesome. But yeah, we're not sure. It's hard through all this fog to get eyes on him and see how big he is, but we don't think he's a shooter at this stage. But it's awesome that we're on elk and hopefully it just develops over the next couple of days. Well, I can't believe what today turned into. It's been almost a year of me waiting for a day exactly like this, to hear those bulls bugling. You know, we end up having about 50 cows up on that ridge, and they were just, you know, milling around doing their thing. I feel like that's just an appetizer of what's to come. We've got a couple more days of cool weather coming, so hopefully that rut just keeps building and building and building, and we get more action. I hope I don't live to regret not moving in on that bull. He wasn't on an open hill face with that many eyes. It was always going to be a hard stalk, but I mean, you can't ask for more than that. It was just incredible, and yeah, hopefully it just gets better and better.